EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today it's live final round coverage of the Tiburon Championship. Well, take a look at this site, Wolf Creek Golf Club. It is for real. Frank, I've never seen anything quite like this as we get set to call it for EA Sports. I'm Rich Lerner behind the mic, and we welcome you to this site that opened up back in 2000. It's a par of 72 with some elevated tees. Frank, what does the player need to look out for here at Wolf Creek?
Well, everything. Try and keep your eyes on the fairways, though. That's the only green thing apart on this magnificent venue. It's hard to imagine you can play golf in this sort of area, but it's so well defined. Obviously, anything green is golf course, and left or right of that, you're going to find yourself in some problems. But really trying to judge all the elevation changes. Ball's going to fly a little bit further in the thin air, but it's amazing on the eye. I tell you, there's long and long, and that with a little bit of breeze behind, it's long.
He rode the wind there to payday. He's going to have a good look coming up. Playing his second shot here at the par 5. That is a green in regulation as the approach shot hits the first green, but he is by no means in for par yet. A lengthy putt coming up. This is a cross-country special. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Made par yesterday, this one for birdie.
Two behind, now become just one back.
Ready to tee off here at the second hole. Quite a view from up here, Frank.
Once again, big elevated tee. And it's hard to imagine you have a tee that high up, but that'll shorten that 445 yards. Obviously, it's a dog leg left. You've got to be careful if you hit driver and two straight, because then you can run out. A nice tee shot in the middle there, and then you've got a relatively straight shot into this sort of par 4 green, obviously going a little bit back up the hill. And once again, a little bit like that opening hole. Sort of different tiers on that green. Try and make sure that you're on the right one.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one.
Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. This is a putt for birdie from long range. Probably would be happy to get down in 2. Will not be happy with that one. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Ooh, that hurts. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Now a 7-footer. Well, that's just a case of not focusing right there. What a lapse in concentration. Getting set now over the putt. Boy, those will knock the wind out of your sails. Double bogey. Now on to the third, first of the short holes here at Wolf Creek. uphill shot, Frank?
Yes, it's going to play a little longer because of that than it's 227 yards off the back tee. Hard to imagine you have a par 3 in amongst this desert, and really that's all it is. Tee and green, there's not much in between. Well protected, as you can see by those bunkers, and this green a little smaller than what you'd like for a hole that's around that 230-yard mark.
That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Well, that's a little absurd, that, Rich. That shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. You like this one, Frank?
Oh, it's a good one. Safely on.
He's putting for bogey now. Now that really hurts, Frank, missing the bogey putt.
Yeah, now time to get the handkerchief. Double bogey coming up.
That's the idea. Just knock it in. And now back over to the fourth. Checking in on our featured golfer, and the only thing you can say is get it together. I mean, this is nasty.
Someone's removed the arms and the legs by the looks of them. This is just all over the place. Errant tee shot here, Rich, but going to have to muscle this one out of the rough. Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
Well, that's what the great ones do. From the rough, they use their skill and their strength to get it out and get it close. That's a good birdie right there. And to 4 under par for the championship. How about this hole, Frank? Par 5, fifth.
If you stand on this tee for the first time, you've got virtually no idea where you've got to aim. Do you aim it left of those bunkers? Do you aim it over the sort of the canyon? Really, the answer is how far do you hit it, because that is going to determine the line that you hit it on. Avoid the water, that little stream. You can always have a drink on the way if you want to, I guess. Second shot plays uphill, but this is a relatively short par 5, so very reachable. But you can see you've got to flight that second shot. You want to make sure that ball's coming in nice and high to this green that's perched up.
Frankie could make eagle right here with a really good approach shot.
Yeah, well within his reach too. And Rich, if we just sit back and relax here, I think we're going to see perhaps a very good look at eagle coming up.
That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Frank, that birdie will help the cause. Frank, here at the 6th, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee?
Got to be careful here for the longer hitters, Rich. Driver actually might be too much. That stream that we just saw at the par 5 fifth hole, it also comes across here. So something that lands short of that, which is in the vicinity of 280, 290 yards. That's the key. From there, well, you're not going to have too much more in, sort of 140, 150 yards in. It is a dogleg right, but find that fairway there. Second shot played just a fraction uphill. And this green, well, it's got more humps than hollows in it. It's to be expected, though. This course is absolutely crazy. This looks like it's heading for the bunker.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
You know how to play this shot, Frank, right? You keep your chin up, you look down your nose at the ball, you have to pick it cleanly, and keep your head still. He'll take that one all day long. Very solid, about 15 feet away.
It's at sneaky distance.
So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. This to avoid a huge number. This is for bogey.
And with 9 holes to go, bogeys become so much more expensive.
Frank, a very short par 4 here at the 7th, but not one you're going to try to hit off the tee.
No, unless you can fly the ball sort of 300 yards on the nose and stop it within sort of 5 or 6 yards, it's really too risky. This green is not very deep, just sort of 10 or 15 yards in depth. It's just a layup hole, but a layup hole it simply doesn't mean grab a club and hit it down the fairway. The best way to play it is to try and hit the ball right on the number. And where I mean by number, I mean the full shot yardage for your second shot, even if that only is a sand iron.
Second shot now to the 7th, and really no margin for error here.
You certainly have to be pinpoint precise with your second shot. If you've laid back, then you've got a nice slightly uphill lie, which should help. But if you try and get it past those bunkers, then you're dabbling with that downhill lie. That's going to make that second shot a little harder to judge because the ball's going to come out lower. And remember, this is where the thin air makes that shot a little harder to judge.
And Frank, that steady play continues.
Rock solid. Excellent approach shot.
Doesn't dig into the lead with that par, but Frank, sometimes, and you know this as well as anyone, you just have to kind of maintain your footing out there. Frank, I really like this hole, the par 3/8 here at Wolf Creek.
It measures just under 250 yards. Really what you want to know is the yardage just to the front edge of the green. Anything obviously that carries sort of 5 or 6 paces on there, then at least you've got a relatively big green to hit at. But you can see the trouble that surrounds short and left of this green, as well as just over the back.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance really for birdie, but really it was a rather poor approach shot.
Looks like he just misread that. Settles in over the putt. Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. Stepping up to the shot here at the 9th, it's a par 4, 390 yards.
It is anything other than straight off the tee because of all these sort of undulations and curvature on the fairway. You'd think well bunkered, but the last bunker on the right side there, longer hitters, they can nearly fly that, just over 300 yards. Either that shorter hitter just played that fat area of the green. That'll be sort of some, 270 yards. That will take all the water out of play. into a green that slopes back at you. So very good chance, even with a wedge in hand, to get the ball close. A good way to finish the front nine. Oh, nice strike, Rich. Not quite directly in line with the flag.
Just drifting a bit to the right, but he'll settle. Now this for birdie came away with par in the previous round. Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
So a tester from 4 feet. Good putt. Now the start of the back nine here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada, or as I like to call it, Mind Blower Golf Club. Frank, everywhere you look, it's just a mind blower. I mean, this one is hard to believe.
This one's also a hard hole. 472 yards off the back tee. The fairway is a little wider than what it looks off the tee because that sort of desert ridge on the right side there, that blocks part of the fairway. So if you can imagine that fairway opens up a bit, then you'll be fine. A good tee shot down here, especially with that elevation there. That should shorten the hole up a little bit. 270 yards gets you past all those bunkers on the left side. They'll take those out of play. And once again, a little bit uphill, and you see the green, it shapes a little bit to the right. So make sure you're aware of where that flag is.
Just a pure strike and a perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now. Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round.
Just when you think you're going to make birdie, now have to really concentrate on this and at least make par.
Shouldn't be a problem here. And with that, par moves into 3rd place. We're here at the downhill par 3 11th hole. Frank, it's 215 yards from the back tee.
This hole certainly is not for the faint of heart. When you look at that tee shot, you think, oh my God, what do I do from here? But remind yourself, it's 215 yards and really only about 160, 170 yards to green grass again. But it's 215 yards. That should be the club that you're trying to pick. Green's big enough, just persuade yourself. Try not to look at the canyon and the desert. There is a green down there. The hole is playable.
Ready for a second shot, trying to knock it on the green.
Not a problem there, Rich.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point.
You'd like that one again.
Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Not going so well for him. He has this for bogey. Blemish on the scorecard. A bogey. Frank, the par 5 12th is another case of a hole where you see that Wolf Creek Golf Club can actually be kind of scary, daunting. When you look out at the desert mountains and then you add in some water, which we have here on the left, and you can go for some big numbers here if you're not careful.
Well, this is where the Wolf and the Creek can take a bite out of you. You hit it left off the tee, then you're certainly going to start to rack up a number. There's enough fairway down the right, but once again, if you hit a good drive and this hole is reachable for you, then you've got to worry about the water, which is to the right of this green. 5 wouldn't be the worst score you could make around here, that's for sure. I've seen 6s and 7s.
So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. Well, this is going to be an interesting day. The wind is howling, or as they would say in Scotland, just a wee breeze. Frank, not where he wants to be, but not out of the hole here at the par 5.
No, but Rich, to drop a shot here would really set him backwards.
Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. Continues to putt beautifully. Now to the 13th hole, and, oh, I don't know, should we just fly it over the mountains, Frank?
It looks like that, but then you better find dry land. 350 yards, but as the crow flies, it's probably just a little over 300 yards. I don't know if the mere mortals would really want to flash it across that desert ridge. You probably want to play a little left of it, have a little pitch up the hill, but if you're one of the longer hitters, why not just try it, see if you can make it.
Well, we've seen this before today, in the bunker. Looking to splash this softly onto the green. Well, the best in the game don't do it any better. McIlroy, Fowler, Duffner, they'd be impressed by that bunker shot. Birdie try again here today. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. 14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the phone, because you want to take some pictures here. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels in that. But let's see, birdies are to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Coming off a bogey here yesterday, chance to make it right. Pretty good stroke right there, just hit it through the break.
Well, it's that sort of distance. If it goes in, it's a bonus.
Little redemption chance here, had bogey yesterday. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now to the short par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. What is this, Frank? Just a wedge or a 9-iron?
That's all, Rich, but it's very tempting to get greedy here. And, well, you pay the price, obviously, if you miss the green on the left down on those bunkers, because they're a good 6-7 feet below the level of the green. But with a wedge or a 9-iron, who doesn't go aiming at the flag?
So he didn't hit the green in regulation, but he still has a reasonably good chance to save his par, about 10 feet away. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Struggling a bit with the flat stick, and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Going to tap out on this hole for the week for another bogey on this hole. And he makes it for a bogey here. Now to the 16th hole, and Frank, another good scoring chance.
If you can avoid the confusion off the tee, it looks like the hole might be a dog leg, then is it a carry? It meanders from one way to the other, but really when you actually break the hole down, it's virtually straight ahead. Those two bunkers in the driving distance, they frame the hole nicely, so play it as a straightaway par 4. It should set up beautifully for just a little short iron and perhaps a birdie opportunity.
Frank, what makes this downhill shot a little trickier in terms of club selection and setup?
Because of the nature of the downhill, that ball's just going to come out a little lower. So you've got to take that into consideration. It might run a little more on the back end.
He's hit the green here at the 16th, but he's not yet hit this putt. It is a long one, about 30 feet away, and it'll test him. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Getting set now over the putt.
Comfortably knocks it in.
Frank, you licking your chops here at the par 5, 17th hole?
Oh, why not? A chance to reach a par 5 and 2, but there's still pitfalls in front of you. A little creek or stream runs across the fairway, so really limiting the distance you can hit that tee shot, but it's still reachable from just short of that creek. Find trouble off the tee, then obviously you turn it into a 3-shotter, but a good tee shot, and it's too tempting to resist not going for this green.
Second shot coming up here at the par 5.
This is not heading in the right direction.
Well, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Frank, what's the best way to get at the golf ball when it's sitting down just a bit in the rough?
You have to accept the fact first and foremost that you're not going to get clean contact. So you have to decide whether the ball's going to come out short or it's going to fly. Because very rarely will it come out the normal distance of what you hit on the fairway. So if it's a little thin and wispy, chances are it might fly. If it's nestled down, you're going to have to take at least another club.
Just a couple of feet. Mark a birdie on the card. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but you know, that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on.
Good news is, was able to retrieve the golf ball.
Yeah, on dry land, and can he carry it this time, though?
Third shot now, after the last one found the deep blue.
Yeah, you can still minimize the damage here. It's only one bad shot that you got punished for.
Well, it looks as though they're going to need to use all their strength to sort of hack it out of that rough, missing it off the tee here. Not missing by much today, but enough to again be in the bunker. In the greenside bunker here, Frank. Nice to go to the beach, but not too often, we hope. That is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. A shot you think you could hit directly at the flag. Now, test for the short game.
Just a bit offline and into the bunker.
Well, that bunker's, is it getting more sand in it, or is he just sinking?
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Pretty good shot right there. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Frank, it was a great setting with great crowds. We saw plenty of very good golf. Your thoughts?
Well, I think the course really extracted some of the golf that we saw. It forced these players to play just some great golf. And it wasn't just like a pitch and a putt golf course. So I think seeing the guys tested, so seeing the players tested at this level, it was a treat.